Hello, everyone. Today we're going to explore the topic of two conditional formatting in Google Sheets. We'll see how to use more than one conditional formatting rule, how to apply conditional formatting for different data types like text, numerical values, dates, and custom settings. We'll also review why the order of these rules matters. For our test sheet, we have tables with tasks, statuses, the progress of each task, and deadlines for each task. Let's start with text. For example, we want to highlight statuses that are completed in green and leave all others in yellow. For this, we go to the conditional formatting settings. A field appears where we can choose between single color or color scale. Next, we have a field where we can select the range and set our rules. Now we'll work with text. To highlight our completed status, we select Text is exactly and enter the value. Click Done and check. One cell is highlighted, but another is not. What's the issue? When we choose Text is exactly, it's very sensitive to spaces and capitalization. Here, we see that an extra space prevented the rule from working. How do we make the rule work, even if there are extra spaces? In this case, we can use text contains instead of text is exactly. That way, even if there are mistakes in the statuses, the rule will still apply. You should choose which option suits your needs better, strict or lenient. Click Done. To create a second rule, we add another rule, select the range for conditional formatting, and choose Cell is not empty. So, all values different from completed but still filled will be highlighted in yellow. Click Done. And now we can see that our task is completed. The statuses are highlighted as we wanted them to be. But be careful. The order of conditional formatting rules is very important. If we put Cell is not empty first, it will check if the cell is filled before looking at the status. In our case, we need to check the status first and then whether the cell is filled, so we'll leave everything as is. Moving on to numerical values. Similarly, we select conditional formatting, where we can set ranges like greater than, less than, etc. We can also use color scale instead of single color, for example, to create a heat map from low to high values for progress status, using green or another chosen color. Here, we can enter minimum values in numbers or, for example, in percentages. Since our values are percentages, we set them accordingly. We select percentages and set, for example, 0, 50, and 100, as it offers us by default, and click Done. Thus, we can see that we now have a heat map. To add new rules, for example, to highlight tasks with 0% completion in red, select the range, add it, go to Settings, and select is equal to. Choose the value 0 and add a red fill. As you can see, the rule hasn't applied yet because the order is incorrect again. If we reorder it to check for 0% first and then apply the heat map, the rule will work as intended. Next, how can we use conditional formatting on dates? We select our range. While we are configuring, we may still have the conditional formatting rules window open and add another rule. Now, in the Dates section, we want to highlight values that are overdue compared to today. To do this, we select the dates before. We are offered today, but we can also select other values. Choose From Today, add a red fill, and save the rule. Now we can see all tasks that have missed their due dates. However, sometimes we see that the status is completed, but the date is overdue. How do we ensure that overdue dates with a completed status don't receive any color highlighting? To achieve this, we can add another rule and add a custom formula. For a custom formula, we go to the bottom and enter the values. Custom formulas are added with equals. Next, we select the data range we are doing the validation on. In this case, it's B2B. Next, we put an equal sign and add our status value. And after that, we select what we don't need to fill it in. We click Done, and as we can see, the rule has failed again because of the order, because it first checks for the date before and then looks at the formula. In such cases, since we need to check first whether the status is completed or not, we move the value up and then we put an additional check. This formatting here is also very sensitive to the text, and if we have extra spaces, it won't work. Since we have extra space here, if we remove it, the rule will work. So be careful that when we add custom formulas, the text must contain exactly the same value, otherwise the formula will not work. That's all for today. We have looked at 3 types of conditional formatting, added a custom formula. We're able to see the main differences and how to add more than one rule. Give it a like if you enjoyed the video. If you still have any questions, ask them in the comments.